Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. No, we're going to have to do better than that. I've got to know you're there. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Okay, now we can begin. This is, in fact, the second of our town hall meetings. It is actually the 12th public meeting that we've held on different subjects. Our intent today is to bring you right up to date. Before we get to that, I would like to introduce you to the boss, the man that has led us all the way through right from the beginning when this was just an idea some didn't believe could become reality. The one man that did believe and convinced us to make the right bid was our Minister, the Honourable Dr. Grant Gibbons, the Acting Premier this evening. Mr. Minister.
Thank you, Mike, and good evening. First of all, let me welcome all of you here this evening. It's a pleasure to see so many people out again. I think we've got some exciting information tonight. I'd particularly like to welcome Sir Russell Coots and the members of the America's Cup Event Authority. We also have with us tonight Dean Barker, who's the skipper of SoftBank Team Japan, and you'll be hearing more from both of those a little later on. The Premier sends his apologies. He was in New York last night. The Bermuda Tourism Authority had a great kickoff to the World Series event coming up, and he was there, actually along with Sir Russell. And he's in Washington right now, so otherwise he would have very much liked to have been here. I think I should also thank St. Paul's for very kindly hosting us tonight, and of course the ACBDA and the DCI for putting the event together as well, in case they don't get thanked again later on. I think it's fair to say that tonight you'll hear from a fairly broad spectrum of people involved in the America's Cup 2017 event, and more immediately the World Series, the Louis Vuitton World Series event in October 16th to 18th, as probably many of you will know. This is going to be a very exciting event, and I can say that from personal experience. I was in both Portsmouth and Gothenburg, and I'm not a sailor, but I can tell you I got very excited. It's fantastic, and I think we'll see some wonderful racing here in Bermuda as well. And I think that's worth underscoring because even if you're not a sailor or a racing fan, I think there's going to be a lot for everybody to see, whether it's on the water or on land in the event village on Front Street. Now, I've been asked to say very briefly that there are a number of parts to the presentation this evening, and we're going to start out with Mike Winfield, who'll be back on in a few minutes doing an update on ACBDA activities in the last couple of months. You're also going to have a chance to meet and indeed welcome Dean Barker, who, as I said, is the skipper of the SoftBank Team Japan. And he's actually the newest team to start moving into Bermuda, and he's here with a couple colleagues, but as he'll probably tell you, a lot more to come as well. You're going to hear a lot about the exciting Endeavor program, which is the youth sailing program, community program, which is being sponsored and indeed organized by the America's Cup Event Authority, and I think Sir Russell will be taking you through some of the activities there as well. And that's targeted particularly at middle school and primary school students, and is focused at this point in St. George's. And there will be a piece just before the World Series on the 15th, which is the Thursday, which will be a program in St. George's to kick that off, and you'll hear more about that as well later on. And then, of course, finally this evening, you'll be hearing about the upcoming World Series event in the 16th to the 18th of October, and getting a lot more detail on that, and I think you'll get a sense of what you can expect from that as well, and some of the, obviously, the requests we have from our end as well. So, lots of information. We've got a lot of things to share with you, and we'll, as I said, have a series of presentations, and then there'll be plenty of opportunity for questions as well. So, thank you very much, and I'll turn it back to Mr. Winfield.